everybody. Welcome to our 254th MidPoint live stream. Can you imagine? We're almost to 5 years of putting out these midpoints every week. What a blessing it has been, and we are so grateful that you're joining us tonight. Listen, do me a favor, would you? Take just a minute and type in and let us know that you're here. I want to know something. How you doing tonight? How's everything been going? I trust all is well with you. Got a question. Have you ever been put on hold? Just today, as I was working and doing some stuff, I had to make a business call for the church. And so after I answered a ton of questions from a computer so they could better serve me, right? I hear that dreaded line, please hold for the next available representative. And then comes what? The cheesy music. Did you know that the average person spends 13 hours a year on hold? I mean, over the course of your lifetime, they say that you're going to spend an average of 43 days of your life on hold. I mean, that's almost a month and a half of listening to cheesy music, waiting for someone that most of the time isn't going to be able to help you anyway. I mean, come on, that is absolute insanity. Yet, how many times do we do it? You may have done it too. Even today, you may have had to been put on hold. What's that saying? Do you mind if I place you on hold for a brief moment, right? Yeah, sometimes those brief moments are like a country mile. 15 minutes later, you're almost there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, listen, something else that's pretty crazy as well is putting yourself on hold. When God is leading you into doing something for Him, something for your family, whatever the case may happen to be, it can be pretty crazy to put yourself on hold as God is directing you. Tell me something. Have you ever been there before? Whether it's maybe ministering, the Lord just, you feel in your heart, you have this sense, this leading, if you will, to minister to somebody, or maybe you've had this deep desire to maybe start a new business or start a nonprofit or make that investment into something, whether it's a business or into stocks or whatever the case may be, maybe something for your family, in the future, your retirement, whatever. Or how about this one? Even, giving to church or to a charitable organization. There's times where we can get that leading, if you will, that sense of direction, but instead of going for it, we put ourselves on hold. Now, I'm not talking about waiting on God for clear direction, praying about something, getting godly counsel from those that you trust around about you. I mean, I listen, I get all that, and I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing. That's using wisdom. So I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about are those things that beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is directing you to do, but for some reason you've placed yourself in this holding pattern, if you will. Can I tell you that all the reasons that play over and over and over in your mind, it's just like that cheesy music you listen to. While you're on the phone waiting, what's happening? The purpose of that cheesy music is simply to distract you just enough to get your mind off of all the time that's being wasted while you're on hold. Like 43 days worth, right? Tell me something. What are some of those things? Type in some of those things, some of those reasons, if you will, why we put ourselves on hold. Type in some of those things that maybe even right now, maybe if you're bold enough to share, maybe there's a reason why you're in a holding pattern right now. Some will say, well, it's just not the right time, bad timing, or others may say, well, I don't have the money for that right now. I can't see how I could invest that way, or I could give that way. Still others, they're going to say, you know what? I don't want to make a wrong move. And listen, let's be honest, I get it. I understand that. Most of the reasons that we use, they sound legitimate because they are. I mean, they really do make sense. But can I tell you that the truth of the matter is that most of the reasons we use are rooted in or stem out of, if you will, a fear of the unknown. Imagine what people said to the first guy or gal, whoever it happened to be, who said, you know what, I'd like to invent a procedure that would make it possible to repair someone's bad heart. Imagine what people said to that first person who said this, you know what, I'd like to invent something that would make it possible for people to talk to each other without any wires attached. How about this one? Imagine what people said to that first person that said this. You know what? I'd like to invent something that would make it possible for humans to fly. I mean, wow. I'm sure that most of the people who heard that for the first time probably looked at that person and said, you know what? You're absolutely insane. That is crazy. People flying, are you kidding me? Cutting someone open heart. I mean, are you kidding me? That is just crazy. But check this out. Some 2 million people's lives, I said 2 million people's lives will be saved this year through open heart surgery. Some 1.85 mobile billion, that's billion, 1.85 billion mobile phones will be sold just this year. Check this out. This year, the airlines expect some 9.8 billion passengers to fly in their planes. So here's the question. Are you in a holding pattern right now? If so, the reasons may sound legitimate, but are they here? I know I hate to say it, but is it true that maybe they might be based in fear? They might be holding you back simply because you're afraid of what tomorrow may hold. I get it and I understand. But listen, the world would call it a risky move, but it may just be God asking you to step out in faith and just go for it. The Bible says in Isaiah 41:10, don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you, and I will hold you with my victorious right hand. We may have to wait on hold sometimes on the phone, but don't spend the majority of your life on hold for Jesus. Jump in by faith and see what great things God has in store for you. Hey, listen, God bless you big time. We'll see you right here next time on MidPoint.